Coming up on Mount News this morning, a community in our region prepares to say goodbye to a beloved educator, and an upcoming docu-series shines a light on the causes of lung disease in areas of eastern Kentucky.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning to you. It's Wednesday. I'm Dakota Makeris, and it's almost 6 o'clock here. Good morning to you. Let's take it over to Brandon for a look at our forecast. All calm right now, but that changes, I was going to say changes a little bit later in the day. Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, does it really?
Yep. The wind advisory goes into effect at 9.
There we go.
There you go.
All right.
It will get windy today. It'll get stormy tomorrow.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Exactly. But regardless, it's going to be a rough couple of days, so bear with it and be ready for anything as we head through the next 48 hours. Let's take a look at our cameras this morning. Mountain Parkway up at Slade there, Wolf-Powell County line. Not a whole lot going on. A little traffic going through there right now, giving us some light there. But when the when the car goes by, you can see that the light of the moon is bright enough to kind of light the parkway up there this morning, just there the last little bit before we transitioned over to temperatures, and you see they're all over the place. 26 in Middlesboro, 50 in Somerset this morning. A lot of mid to upper 40s, so be aware of that as you head out the door. 66 is the forecast high today. The average high 49, 72 the record back on this day in 2006. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. Well, the Owsley County community is mourning the loss of their district athletic director, Bobby Bowling, who lost his life to cancer on Monday. Our Jade Saylor talked with people that say they were lucky to know and work with him.
Bobby Bowling was more than just an athletic director.
Touched so many of our kids' lives, and that's an impactful person.
Bowling grew up playing basketball at Owsley County High School. Years later, he returned to coach and eventually become the AD.
His contributions to our athletic programs, he brought the passion, he brought the love, he brought the you can do better mentality to our kids and our athletic programs. A breath of fresh air for me to hire Bob back as the district AD.
Bowling died Monday after a hard-fought battle with cancer.
I mean, he's going to be missed, but he's left his legacy in Owsley County and our athletic programs. And, you know, that's something to leave, is that mentality of we can do better and need to do better.
Leaving a legacy on and off the court.
Bobby was a special person to be around. He just had a love for the kids and a love for the sports that the kids participated in.
Those that knew him say he will be missed, but never forgotten.
He'll be greatly missed, you know, by the community and my girls who had grown especially close to him in the past, you know, couple of years. I think took a little piece of their heart with them, you know, when he passed on.
Bowling also coached at Powell County and Somerset High School before returning home. In Owsley County, Jade Saylor, WYMT Mountain News.
Bowling's visitation will be from 5 to 9 p.m. Saturday at the Owsley County High School gym. The funeral is at 3 p.m. on Sunday. Well, this month is National Cancer Prevention Month. It's a time dedicated to bringing awareness to the preventative measures we can take to lessen our risk of cancer. Oncologist and hematologist at the ARH Cancer Center, Dr. Sam Bailey, says beginning screening for cancer at the ages the American Cancer Society recommends is important in catching cancer early on. Dr. Bailey adds that your weight, diet, and activity level are also keys to cancer prevention.
So obesity is probably the predominant driver of the increased colon cancer rates, as well as it increases your rates of breast cancer as well as prostate cancer. So most cancers, obesity actually increase your chance of developing one of those cancers during your lifetime.
Well, Dr. Bailey adds that maintaining a healthy plant-based diet and limiting your intake of processed red meats can reduce your risk of cancer significantly. Well, a new KET docu-series says that living in a holler can be bad for your lungs. The series, which focuses on lung disease in Kentucky, follows a study of 900 people living in Harlan and Letcher counties. Results of the study showed that coal mines played less of a role in lung disease than previously thought, and that poor air quality in communities where pollution settles is a larger culprit. But the series health producer Laura Kruger says there's a bigger threat to your lungs.
Smoking tobacco is the biggest issue. If you talk to any doctor in the entire state, they would say that.
She says smoking outside can make a big difference in the air quality of your home. The series Fighting to Breathe Lung Disease in Kentucky premieres next Monday at 9 p.m. on KET. Kentucky's COVID-19 cases continue to drop. The state announced about 4,000 new cases yesterday and 34 new deaths. The positivity rate is also down to 17.16%, and there's a slight uptick in hospitalizations in people on a ventilator. But the number of people in the ICU has remained the same. You can always find the latest COVID-19 information on our website at WYMT.com. Lawmakers have filed a bill they say will address the state's severe nursing shortage. Supporters say the bill could make it easier for nursing students to get into school. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more of the legislation and the reaction from State's Nursing Association.
Senate President Robert Stivers says this bill is one of the most important ones they've filed this year.
The various teaching institutions that we have are not able to upgrade or increase their numbers of admissions.
Stivers says sometimes the numbers are capped at 50 or 75 and potential students are turned away.
The Board of Nursing, who is basically the entity through regulation that has set these limits. So with this, what Senator Mills and I, and talking to our two doctors that are involved in the Senate, is how we change that.
The bill also sets up some new requirements for who can serve on the board and for how long, setting up 12-year term limits and also some new geographic requirements. It requires at least 2 board members from each of the state's congressional districts, and it lessens restrictions on who can teach.
If you have your bachelor's degree in nursing and you're working towards your master's degree, you'll be able to teach all levels of nursing.
Stivers says they did get input from the nursing board and healthcare organizations. Delanor Manson is with the Kentucky Nurses Association and says they were not contacted. They're still studying the bill, but she says more financial incentives are needed.
Retention bonuses for the nurses, which means that we need to get some funding into the current budget. And then things like maybe bringing back some retired nurses to help out with the shortage. That is something that could be done pretty quickly.
Governor Beshear has also said there needs to be student loan forgiveness and other revenue measures as part of the state budget. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, the bill has not yet been heard or voted on in committee. Well, that could come next week. Well, a bill sponsored by 6 Republican legislatures is aiming to remove a school district's power to enforce masking and give that power directly to parents. Well, not a year on from giving school districts that same power. The CDC website cites at least 10 studies that confirm wearing a mask does in fact significantly reduce a person's risk of infection, but that was not the biggest discussion point.
I don't understand why we're trying to take away that opportunity if we have local control. So can you explain that to me?
I don't know of anything that is more local than a parent making the decision whether or not their child should have to wear a mask.
Well, the bill passed through committee with a vote of 12-7, and now that heads to the full House. Well, there's a new push in the legislature to help better ensure voting is accessible to all eligible Kentuckians. Democratic Senator Reggie Thomas filed Senate Bill 159, which would expand the state's early voting from 3 days to 12 and close polls an hour later on Election Day. Well, it also targets registration, allowing people to register when applying for a driver's license or on Election Day. It would also allow for absentee voting if more convenient.
If you're sick or you're elderly and you want to vote and you don't have the health or the strength or the ability to go to the polls and vote, you don't have to.
Lawmakers are reacting to the bill, and overall opinions seem mixed. Republican Secretary of State Michael Adams did not reject or express support of SB 159. Instead, he commented, quote, "Too many lawmakers around our country are offering partisan election bills rather than consulting with election officials and working across party lines. Election policy should be made in a bipartisan way, as I've done. Senate Bill 159 must pass through committee before it can be voted on in the general session." Another bill being discussed in Frankfort is House Bill 301, which would prevent outside money from being used to fund elections here in Kentucky. In 2020, nonprofits backed by Mark Zuckerberg donated more than $7 million to Kentucky clerks and $1.6 million to the State Board of Elections. Sponsors of the bill say that money casts a cloud over elections. However, some county election officials say that money made their elections run more efficiently than last cycle.
6:09 here on this Wednesday morning, and it is a much warmer start to the day than it was this time yesterday. Let's take a look and see what's going on out there with temperatures, and they are in the 40s right now. 50 was the thing over in Somerset for a while, but they have now dropped. 26 in Middlesboro is our cool spot, and a lot of 30s and 40s out there this morning as you head across the region. 66 our forecast high this afternoon. It's going to be a breezy day. Wind advisory goes into effect for most of the area and at 9 o'clock this morning, goes till 7 o'clock this evening, and we could see gusts at times up to 45 miles per hour. Otherwise, it's going to be a fairly nice day, but sunny and mild to start, and then some more clouds to end. That wind advisory we talked about, then we see the possibility for some high winds tomorrow with severe storms. Could gust as high as 70 miles per hour at times in some spots, but a nice weekend on the way after that, after a cold end to the week on Friday. Dakota?
All right, B-Rob, thanks so much. It's 6:10. When we come back, there are signs to suggest a decrease in tensions between Russia and Ukraine. We'll tell you about that on the way.